What started as just another loud DJ Akademiks rant online suddenly turned into something way more serious and way more dangerous. Because this time, the internet didn't stay on the internet. Just hours after Akademiks went viral for speaking on Lil Baby and questioning the loyalty and power of 4 picofarads, reports began circulating that members connected to Lil Baby's camp actually confronted him in real life. No tweets, no live stream, no warnings. Just real people, real tension, and a situation that could have gone left fast. Witnesses claim Akademiks looked visibly shaken as the mood instantly shifted from social media jokes to street-level pressure. This wasn't about clout anymore. This wasn't about views. This was about respect, and lines that some believe Akademiks crossed when he brought street affiliations into his commentary. Fans immediately started asking the same question. Did Akademiks finally say too much? For years, he's built a career off speaking freely on hip-hop beefs, exposing behind-the-scenes drama, and calling out rappers by name. But Lil Baby and 4 picofarads are known for playing internet games, and this confrontation sent a clear message that not everyone is willing to let things slide. Now the hip-hop world is on edge. Are Akademiks in real danger? Will Lil Baby respond publicly, or let the streets speak for him? And could this moment change how far bloggers and commentators are willing to go when talking about rappers tied to real power? Because after this, one thing is clear. The beef went viral, and then it got real. The beef went viral, and then it got real. Right after the confrontation made waves online, hip-hop fans realized this wasn't just another loud moment clipped for social media. The energy around DJ Akademiks shifted instantly. For years, Akademiks has been one of the most fearless voices in rap commentary, saying what others won't, naming names, and turning industry tension into content. But this time, the response wasn't a tweet, a diss record, or a subtweet. It was real-world pressure. According to multiple reports and eyewitness chatter circulating online, Akademiks was approached by individuals connected to Lil Baby's 4 picofarads camp not long after his comments began trending. While exact details remain disputed, one thing is consistent across accounts. The mood was serious, direct, and far from internet theatrics. No cameras rolling, no jokes, just a clear message that certain lines shouldn't be crossed. This moment hit differently because of who was involved. Lil Baby isn't just another rapper caught in an online drama. He represents a movement, a label, and a street-connected circle that doesn't typically engage in public back and forth. 4 picofarads has always operated quietly, letting success and influence speak louder than words. So when Akademiks spoke on internal loyalty, street ties, and power dynamics, many felt he stepped into territory that goes beyond commentary. To understand why this situation escalated so fast, you have to look at Akademiks' history. His rise came from covering Chicago drill, often reporting on real-life violence connected to music. Over time, he transitioned into mainstream hip-hop media, becoming a central hub for news, rumors, and opinions. Rappers might not like him, but they watch him. And when Akademiks speak, the internet listens. That influence is exactly why this confrontation matters. Fans have long debated whether bloggers and commentators should be allowed to speak freely on street-related topics without consequences. Akademiks himself has argued that he's a journalist, not a participant. But critics say once your words affect real reputations and real safety, journalism stops being a shield. Lil Baby's name being pulled into the conversation changed everything. Baby has built his brand on growth, discipline, and staying out of unnecessary drama. Unlike many artists, he rarely responds publicly to online talk. That silence has always been interpreted as strength, and this situation only reinforced that image. While Baby never addressed Akademiks directly, the alleged confrontation sent a message louder than any Instagram post could. Social media exploded as fans took sides. Some defended Akademiks, saying freedom of speech shouldn't come with intimidation. Others argued that discussing street affiliations from a safe distance is irresponsible, especially when millions are watching. The comment sections turned into war zones, with phrases like, "The internet isn't real life," trending alongside Akademiks' name. What made things even more intense was Akademiks' reaction afterward. Viewers noticed a subtle shift in tone during his next appearances. He didn't directly confirm the incident, but his words were more cautious, less provocative, less confident. To some, it looked like fear. To others, it looked like maturity, a reminder that even the loudest voices have limits. This incident also reopened an uncomfortable conversation within hip-hop culture. Where does commentary end and involvement begin? Akademiks has always blurred that line. He doesn't just report, he reacts, jokes, insults, and sometimes escalates. That style made him famous, but it also put him closer to the fire than most media personalities are willing to stand. Meanwhile, Lil Baby continued business as usual. Shows sold out. Music streamed. No public statements. That contrast spoke volumes. One side was dealing with fallout, the other didn't even acknowledge the storm. In the rap world, silence can be power, and this silence felt intentional. Behind the scenes, insiders claim this situation may have long-term consequences. Bloggers are watching closely. Streamers are reconsidering how far they can go when speaking on rappers tied to real-world influence. Because if Akademiks, arguably the biggest name in hip-hop commentary, can be confronted, nobody is untouchable. This isn't just about Akademiks or Lil Baby. It's about the changing rules of hip-hop media. The culture has always been rooted in reality, but the digital age made it easy to forget that words travel beyond screens. What gets said for views can echo in places where views don't matter at all. And as tensions continue to simmer, one question hangs over the culture. Did this confrontation mark the beginning of a new era, where online voices are finally held accountable offline? Because if so, this won't be the last time we see something like this. And next time, it might not end quietly. Akademiks' inner circle speaks out, and insiders reveal what was allegedly said during the confrontation and why this situation may be far from over. Akademiks' inner circle speaks out, and insiders reveal what was allegedly said during the confrontation and why this situation may be far from over. In the days following the alleged confrontation, the silence around the situation became louder than any viral clip. DJ Akademiks didn't jump online to laugh it off. There was no instant rant, no explosive live stream addressing the rumors head-on. For longtime viewers, that alone felt unusual. Akademiks is known for meeting controversy with volume, but this time, he chose restraint. Behind the scenes, sources close to Akademiks claim the moment shook him more than he let on. Not because of what was said publicly, but because of how quickly things moved offline. According to insiders, the confrontation wasn't chaotic or violent. It was controlled, direct, and intentional. The message, allegedly, was simple. Commentary is one thing, but speaking on street ties and internal loyalty crosses a line. That distinction matters. Hip-hop has always had critics, bloggers, and commentators. But there's an unspoken rule about certain topics, especially when real people and real consequences are attached. Akademiks has spent years walking that tightrope, often proudly claiming that he fears no rapper. This moment tested that philosophy. As word spread, Akademiks' circle reportedly urged him to move differently. Friends and collaborators advised him to tighten security, watch his language, and avoid escalating the situation. Some even suggested taking a break from covering Lil Baby entirely. Not out of fear, but out of wisdom. When situations stop being digital, survival becomes more important than content. Meanwhile, the internet did what it does best: speculate. Clips of Akademiks from past streams resurfaced, especially moments where he spoke dismissively about street culture while profiting from it. Critics accused him of hiding behind a microphone, while supporters argued he was being targeted for doing his job. The divide grew sharper by the hour. Lil Baby, once again, remained silent. No tweets. No interviews. No subliminals. That silence frustrated fans looking for drama, but it also reinforced Baby's image. In a culture obsessed with response, choosing not to respond can be the loudest move. Many interpreted the lack of public reaction as confidence, not avoidance. Industry insiders began weighing in quietly. DJs, producers, and media figures hinted that this confrontation wasn't random. Akademiks' comments, they said, touched on deeper frustrations about how street narratives are monetized by people far removed from the consequences. For some, this wasn't about academics personally, it was about setting boundaries. At the same time, other media personalities felt uneasy. If academics could be confronted, what did that mean for everyone else? Bloggers thrive on proximity to controversy, but this incident exposed the risks of blurring commentary with provocation. Several streamers subtly changed their tone, avoiding certain topics or softening language when discussing street-affiliated artists. Akademiks eventually returned to his platform, but viewers noticed the difference immediately. He addressed hip-hop news broadly, avoiding Lil Baby's name altogether. When fans pushed him in chat, he brushed it off, saying some things weren't worth discussing. That response alone fueled more speculation. To some, it felt like confirmation. This shift sparked a larger debate about accountability in hip-hop media. Is it fair for commentators to profit off street narratives without bearing any responsibility for how those stories impact real lives? Akademiks has long defended himself by saying rappers willingly put their lives into music. But critics argue that commentary amplifies narratives in ways artists can't control. The situation also highlighted the power imbalance between artists and media. Rappers are often expected to accept criticism as part of fame, while media figures operate without the same scrutiny. This confrontation disrupted that dynamic, reminding everyone that influence flows both ways. Behind closed doors, some claim this moment forced Akademiks to reevaluate his role. Not as a fan, not as a provocateur, but as a gatekeeper. His platform shapes perception, drives narratives, and sometimes escalates conflicts. With that power comes risk and responsibility. Fans of Lil Baby saw the situation as validation. To them, the confrontation proved that Baby's camp doesn't tolerate disrespect, even from powerful media figures. Supporters praised the restraint shown publicly, arguing that not everything needs to be broadcast for entertainment. Others worried about the precedent being set. If confrontations become normalized, will that discourage honest commentary? Will fear replace free expression? These questions lingered as the dust settled, with no clear answers. One thing was undeniable: the culture felt different afterward. Conversation slowed. Words were chosen more carefully. The line between internet bravado and real-world consequences became impossible to ignore. And as Akademiks navigated this new reality, whispers suggested the story wasn't finished. Insiders hinted that more details could surface, not necessarily about violence, but about warnings given, relationships strained, and alliances quietly shifting. Because in hip-hop, silence rarely means resolution. It often means preparation. Explore how this moment could permanently change Akademiks' approach to hip-hop media, and examine why the industry believes this situation may resurface when least expected, the long-term consequences, and why many believe this moment quietly reshaped hip-hop media, even if no one ever admits it publicly. As weeks passed, the situation surrounding DJ Akademiks and Lil Baby's for Pico Farad's camp didn't explode the way many expected. There were no diss tracks, no public callouts, and no viral breakdown explaining everything step by step. Instead, something more unusual happened. The culture adjusted. According to multiple industry insiders, the confrontation served its purpose, without ever needing confirmation. The warning, allegedly delivered calmly and directly, wasn't meant for the internet. It was meant for Akademiks, and by extension, every media figure watching closely. The message wasn't about silencing commentary. It was about boundaries. Sources claim Akademiks was told that discussing music, sales, and industry moves is fair game, but speculating on street structure, loyalty, and internal dynamics is a different category entirely. Whether those claims are true or not, the result was clear. Akademiks' coverage style subtly evolved. He didn't disappear. He didn't retreat. He recalibrated. Longtime viewers noticed it immediately. Akademiks became more selective about which stories he amplified. When addressing beef, he focused more on verified facts and less on assumptions. The jokes were fewer. The edge was softer. To some fans, it felt like growth. To others, it felt like pressure finally caught up with him. Behind the scenes, media executives reportedly used this situation as a quiet case study. Streaming platforms, labels, and even sponsors are increasingly aware of how quickly online narratives can spill into real-world consequences. Akademiks' moment became an example, not in meetings or press releases, but in tone shifts and content guidelines that suddenly mattered more. Meanwhile, Lil Baby continued ascending without acknowledging the situation. His strategy remained unchanged. Let success speak. To many in the industry, that approach is why the confrontation worked. No public threats. No viral moment. Just presence. In hip-hop, restraint often carries more weight than noise. Members close to Baby's camp allegedly viewed the situation as settled the moment the message was delivered. From their perspective, there was no beef, only correction. That mindset explains why there was never a follow-up. The goal wasn't dominance. It was far away. The ripple effect across hip-hop media was undeniable. Bloggers began choosing words more carefully. Streamers added disclaimers. Certain topics became off-limits unless backed by hard evidence. While no one openly admitted fear, behavior told a different story. The era of consequence-free commentary felt like it had quietly ended. This also reignited a long-standing debate. Should media figures be held accountable for how their words impact real people? Academics have always argued that artists choose to live publicly and profit from authenticity. Critics counter that amplification comes with responsibility. This moment didn't answer that question, but it forced everyone to acknowledge it. Ironically, Academiks may have gained more respect because of this situation. Not from fans looking for chaos, but from those who recognized adaptation as survival. Hip-hop has never rewarded stubbornness for long. The culture evolves, and those who last learn when to push and when to pause. Still, the tension never fully disappeared. Insiders claim there were follow-up conversations, not confrontations, quiet reassurances that the issue was closed as long as lines weren't crossed again. Whether true or not, Academiks never revisited the topic in depth. Some stories, it seemed, were better left unfinished. For fans, the mystery only added to the legend. Were Academiks truly shaken? Or did he simply recognize a moment to pivot? Was Lil Baby directly involved? Or was his silence strategic distance? The lack of answers became part of the narrative. What's undeniable is that this incident marked a shift. Hip-hop media entered a new phase, one where influence is measured not just by views, but by proximity to reality. The screen no longer guarantees safety. Virality no longer guarantees control. As the culture moves forward, this moment will be remembered not for what was said publicly, but for what wasn't. No receipts, no recordings, just a noticeable change in behavior across the board. And maybe that's the real takeaway. Because in a world obsessed with exposure, sometimes the most powerful moments happen off camera. The beef didn't end with a bang. It ended with understanding. And in hip-hop, that might be more dangerous than any diss track ever could be. If you've made it this far, then you already know this story is bigger than just DJ Akademiks or Lil Baby. This wasn't an internet drama. This was a moment that exposed how close hip-hop media is to real-world consequences. And stories like this don't break themselves. They need voices willing to dig deeper. So if you want real hip-hop stories, not watered-down headlines, make sure you subscribe right now. This channel doesn't just repeat news, we connect the dots. Every video is researched, structured, and built to show you what's really happening behind the scenes. Hit the like button if you believe bloggers and media figures need to be held accountable just like artists. That one click tells YouTube this is the kind of content the culture actually wants. Not fake beefs, not clickbait, but real conversations. Drop a comment and let me know. Backhand index pointing right, did Akademiks cross the line? Or did 4 picofarads take it too far? Backhand index pointing right, should media be free to say anything? Or are there boundaries? Your comments push this discussion further than any headline ever could. And don't forget to turn on notifications, because isn't the end. New reactions, insider angles, and industry shifts are already unfolding, and you won't hear them everywhere. This is hip-hop without filters. This is where the internet meets reality. Stay locked in, stay informed, and I'll see you in the next one. Fire microphone chart increasing.